Hello, and welcome to part 4 of our IPRF demo. In the last part of the demo, we talked about Executive View. In this part of the demo, we will talk about My View. My View is your personal dashboard which you can customize to display any information that interests you. It can be used by the management or the NOC or the fraud team to keep track of current and historical trends. You can configure your view to display alerts and fraud statistics for the destination of your premium customers. This view is configured for a group in NOC responsible for monitoring 30 destinations. The data here is for 1 month. You can retrieve data for any time interval specified here. Or you can use the date widget to specify any date between the last 2 quarters. The dashboard is currently displaying Destinations View. You can go here to pull the drop-down menu and select any view of your choice. For example, you can use the My Customers view to monitor fraud for your important customers. To customize your view, use Config View button on the top right. This is where you can add or delete your choices. For My Destinations view, you can use Config View to add or remove destinations. For these 30 destinations, this wholesale carrier had a total of 1.9 million fraud minutes in the month of April. This totals up to $288,000 for 1 month. Again, this dollar amount is based on standard rate sheet. Your rates may be different. Total fraudulent calls are 313,000. Total alerts are 1,319 alerts. If you're in the NOC responsible for monitoring 30 premium rate destinations, you will want to know your worst fraud destinations. The bar chart on the right displays that. These are the 5 destinations worst hit by fraud calls in April. This destination at the top is worst hit by fraud for April. Total fraud minutes are 409,000. Do you want to know how many minutes were lost to fraud for this destination for your platinum customers? If we click on the bar, it will take you to distribution of fraud by service level. You can see platinum customers have lost 300,000 minutes to fraud. These premium customers will be very unhappy if they are charged for 300,000 fraudulent minutes. The dashboard also gives you the top 10 telephone number ranges being used to artificially inflate traffic. These are the top 10 calling number ranges. Of course, they are all mangled. These are most affected by IPRF for the month of April that you are monitoring to ensure fraud is curbed with little or no damage. These top 10 telephone numbers could be the PBXs of your enterprise customers being hacked, or they could be SIMs that were cloned by fraudsters. You can also view the top 10 call number ranges. The chart on the right gives you the daily distribution of fraud minutes. These 2 charts are interrelated. The left gives you the aggregated number, and the right shows you the daily distribution. Let me take an example. Let's filter everyone out except this calling number. This PBX generates fraudulent calls to multiple premium numbers. Total fraud minutes was 109,000. The hackers hacked this PBX and generated test calls a week before they pumped full-blown fraud traffic. They made test calls with a few hundred calls with as low as 2,000 minutes, which the legacy rule threshold-based system almost always misses. A week later, once they hacked multiple PBXs, they perpetrated big fraud infiltration. The existing solution called IPRF after the full-blown infiltration of fraud, which was after 109,000 minutes was lost to fraud, which translates to about $22,000 lost to fraud in just 3 days. It is a typical fraud scenario where hackers generally test the connectivity with a few hundred calls, sometimes a few hours before perpetrating full-blown infiltration. It is important to stop fraud during the test calls, and IPsoft solution does just that. Let's take another example. This originating number is another enterprise PBX hacked. The hackers generated low volume of fraudulent calls, and for the longest time, these fraudulent calls went completely undetected by existing solutions. Hackers knew that by staying low under the radar, they could continue fraud for a longer duration. And they were right, and they accumulated 47,000 minutes for a month. This customer was completely unaware that there is continual low-grade IPRF occurring in the network. The fraudsters keep getting smarter. They stay under the radar and add a smaller mix of IPRF calls every other day, monthly, and they inflict more financial damage than the traditional fraud scenarios. IPsoft's IPRF solutions is based on machine learning and uncovers all kinds of IPRF, including low-grade IPRF. The solution works off of your CDRs and statistical algorithms based on covariance, k-means clusterings of the random variables. True positives like low-grade IPRF or blended IPRF is detected in near real time and averted in near real time. Let's look deeper at all the fraud alerts for a month in a grid view. Everything that you saw in the dashboard can be seen in this grid view with much more granularity. You can dig deeper and retrieve the actual fraudulent CDRs. See the begin and end time of the fraud incidents. Here are all the destinations being affected by premium rate fraud for the month of April. Ranked order by fraud minutes. You can see the premium rate destinations, if the destinations have been exempted, and the engineering mode configured. The last two columns shows you fraud alerts and fraud minutes. By default, the results are sorted by fraud minutes. Just by a click of a button, you can flip the sort order, ascending or descending. You can select any other column to sort by clicking on the column header. Let's select the worst destination here, which is the first one, with 86 alerts and 357,417 fraudulent minutes. This is an African destination whose name has been mangled. Let's dissect this and find out all the calling number ranges that were used to generate 357,417 fraudulent minutes. Let's select IPRF metrics and hit Go To. This is the IPRF metrics page that shows you the calling telephone number range being used to artificially inflate traffic into these call telephone number ranges of the fraudulent premium rate providers. You can see the begin and the end time when fraud occurred and fraud minutes lost for each alert. Let me show you the hack PBX we discussed in the alert view earlier. Let me enter a PBX. This PBX is the one we discussed in my alert view dashboard that generated over 109,000 minutes. Let's look at the alerts we generated. On the 7th, the solution generated the alert when the test calls were made for 2,000 minutes. Let's look at the fraudulent CDRs. These are the calls that were generated by hackers. You can see the origination network, supplier routing these calls, and customers who sent you this traffic for platinum service level. All calls answered in 2 seconds. And look at the call durations, all around 20 to 21 minutes. For a human eye, it looks random, but an advanced machine learning technology can detect that these are fraudulent. Same patterns can be found during full-blown infiltration. So we discussed how, with 3 levels, you found your worst destinations, calling and called number ranges, actionable intelligence, and the evidence in the form of fraudulent CDRs. If you have emails set for this customer who is originating traffic, he will be alerted immediately without any manual intervention. For most of our customers, all these 3 steps are automated. When there is an IPRF alert, they are automatically blocked and an email sent to the originating customers with the CDRs. Let's come back to the dashboard. You can also look at the alerts for a day. It will give you a visual view of your daily statistics. This view is for April 29th. On the top left is a summary of the alerts for the day. The summary stats gets updated every half hour. You want to see the top destinations being hit by fraud. You want to see the top calling number ranges, top PBXs of your enterprise being hacked, SIMs being cloned and used to inflate the traffic, or customers affected by wangery. Here they are. You can also see the highest called telephone number ranges to the premium destinations. And again, on the bottom right, the hourly distribution of fraud minutes is displayed. The dashboard gives you the summary and snapshots of alerts. For details, you can always deep dive and go to the grid view. So in this series, we covered IPRF Solution, which is the most comprehensive fraud solution available in the market today. Why is it comprehensive? Because it covers all kinds of fraud and alerts you in near real time. Thank you for watching, and for further information, please contact webleads at IPsoft.com.